Hello everyone, Rose Pants here, and welcome to Books in Bed. I have been doing this book club for a few weeks now, but decided to morph it just a little bit. There's really not a lot of things that are more enjoyable than laying in bed and reading a good book. 1984 is the book that we're focusing on now. And the majority of the time that I was reading for this book club, I was in bed. So I was like, why not just do the live broadcasts from bed? Because there was one week where I literally was like, I have to get out of bed right now. It's time to do the live show. And then it was just like, kind of not necessarily an inconvenience, but it just would have been so much better if I could just do it straight from bed. So that's what we're going to do now. Um, Last week, since I had the technical difficulties, I had to postpone the show and then made the executive decision to just lump it all into one instead of putting off the reading schedule. We're just going to keep it on schedule and then put the two into one. And instead of a 30-minute show, this will be an hour show. So first we're going to be discussing pages 149 to 200, and this is where the book really starts getting intense and fucking just crazy in general. And then after that, the section is pages 200 to 266, and I do have to be honest, I did not finish rereading this section in time for you guys today. Ugh, I'm sorry. I was horrible. Yeah. I got really distracted yesterday and did not do my reading like I should have. Sorry. But whatever. I did this section for last week, obviously. I was all prepared for that. And then the fucking sound wouldn't work. So frustrating. Oh my god. I think the funniest part about it, though, is that because you couldn't hear me and you could see me, there's some people saying they could read my lips, and I was so frustrated. So I was like, the word frustrated is so enunciated that I know that you guys were reading my lips, and could see that. Let's see. Sorry, just trying to flip to the right page. I'm all frazzled. Sorry, guys. 149, that's what I thought. There it is. Okay. Got to the right page. So, now let's just go to my notes. Okay, so where we had left off was that O'Brien said that he had the new version of, or the newest version of the dictionary, and that he was going to give it to Winston. They were going to do a meetup. He was going to come to his house. So right off the bat, my first note is that Winston and Julia take a huge risk by going to O'Brien's house together. They don't go together, but they meet right at his door. They're going to go in together. Still a huge risk. Pretty much everything in Oceania is a risk. They're super nervous. The inside of his house. Oh, okay. So they're super nervous while they're inside of his house until he turns the telescreen off. And then you're just like floored. How does he have the capability to turn his telescreen off? So they're able to actually talk alone, instead of alone being in quotations, like they actually are alone because the telescreen is off. O'Brien brings out some wine, and they're like, oh my god, wine, I've never tasted anything like this. And they're like kind of blown away and really didn't know what to expect walking in to O'Brien's house, and then just like instantly their minds are blown, essentially. Um, so let's see, I have a quote on page 151. Like the gloss paper weight on Mr. Charrington's half-remembered rhymes, It belonged to this vanished romantic past, the olden time, as he liked to call it in his secret thoughts. Oh, this is about the wine. Yeah, so it just like they really blew their mind that it's like it's romantic and olden times, and it kind of just like brings them back. Um, let's see. So O'Brien does confirm the existence um, of the Brotherhood, um, and begins initiation to the Brotherhood of Winston and Julia by asking them questions. Winston and Julia agree to all but one thing. They aren't prepared to separate and never see one another again, like ever. Oh, so it's one of the things. Oh yeah, he's asking them all these questions like, are you prepared to give your lives? Are you prepared to commit murder? Because joining the Brotherhood is really serious. I mean, obviously, like, so I need to tilt this down so I don't look quite so naked. So, like, are you prepared to betray your country to foreign powers? Blah, blah, blah. Cheat, forge, blackmail, all of this. Julia and Winston, all they're all for it. They're ready to be initiated into the Brotherhood, but there is one thing that they will not really say wholeheartedly. Yes, yes, I will do that, and that's that they don't want to betray or be separated from each other. See if I said anything else about this. Um, it's just like the foreverness of it. They don't want to be separated, so because they know that once they are, they will never see each other ever again, and that's just too much for them to handle. The Brotherhood is obviously a sneaky organization to set up and not get caught. Page 156 explains. Sorry, since this is last week, like, it's not super fresh in my mind any longer, so I'm like, what did I mean by that note? It's like, I always make notes when I'm reading so that I know what to say in these Ustreams, but since this was supposed to be last week's discussion, I'm just like, wait, what? Okay. Okay, so now they're talking about getting caught, essentially, because being in the Brotherhood is obviously against so many laws that it's just ridiculous laundry list of things that they're doing wrong and what the party could arrest them for. And so they're talking about how once you get caught, we never help our members. At most, when it's absolutely necessary that someone should be silenced, we are occasionally able to smuggle a razor blade into a prisoner's cell so then they can just kill themselves, essentially. You have to get used to living without results and without hope. You will work for a little while, you will be caught, you will confess, and then you will die. Straight up. They're just like cut and dry, super, super simple. They don't even care. Our only true life is in the future. We shall take part as it in handfuls of dust and splinters of bone, but how far away from the future may be, there is no knowing. It might be 1,000 years. At present, nothing is possible except to extend the area of Sandy little by little. We cannot act collectively. We can only spread our knowledge outwards from the individual to individual, generation after generation, in the face of the thought police. There is no other way. So the Brotherhood is obviously very sneaky, and then they realize the enemy that they're going against, and that they cannot. They are banded together in a sense because they are the Brotherhood, but they really have to be individualistic about it because of the thought police. They will get caught on so fucking quickly, and then that will just be they'll be put to a stop. There will be nothing else. There is no other way. They're completely honest, and they know that that's just how it is. That's how it's going to be. They realize that it's going to be a slow process, and that it's going to take generations for this to actually take effect and to overthrow the party. So O'Brien is going to get Winston a copy of the book, which is written by someone named Goldstein, who is the leader of the Brotherhood, and it's pretty much like all their rules and regulations and how they really work and like the nitty-gritty of it all. So then it pretty much like switches gears from there. The party keeps flip-flopping with who they're at war with. There's three total nations. So there is Oceania, which is where Winston lives. There's Eurasia, and then there's East Asia, and they keep flip-flopping between who they say they are at war against. Someone loved to comment, yeah, I am reading naked. Get used to it. So on the 6th day of Hate Week, the Brotherhood pull off a stunt, a switcheroo of their own to trip up the party. So what happened was, I can't remember exactly because Eurasia and East Asia, they sound so familiar, and the dyslexia in my brain just like flip-flops them myself. Kind of what the party wanted to accomplish, right? So, let me see, what was it? Okay, so they said they were at war with one and then instantly switched it to the other and said that they erased all history, changed all the books and everything, and then we're like, no, we've always been at war with this one. That's just how it is. And so on the 6th day of Hate Week, they are in like a little like center area of the city, and there's all of these posters all over, and they say that they are at war with one, but it's really the other. And pretty much the party freaks the fuck out and has to like destroy everything instantly. Let's see where in the book I am. Oh wait, no, I skipped ahead. Okay. So to cover their own tracks, the party just goes with it, and then they immediately change all history. Okay, so my notes totally saved me. So before they were at war with Eurasia, and then the Brotherhood did their little trick and made it look like they were at war with East Asia instead. And so the party just went with it, and they changed all history to say that they were at war with East Asia. And Winston has to work 18-hour days for 6 days straight because, as we knew before, it's his job to rewrite history essentially and change all the books and everything. And so fucking 18-hour days, it's like grueling. And everyone in the ministry buildings, that's what they had to do. It was fucking crazy. Julia included had to work these crazy 18-hour days. So it's because of those crazy days, Winston has the book that is written by Goldstein. It's like pretty much how to and what's going on with the Brotherhood now that he's been initiated. And so he has the book, he really wants to read it, but unfortunately he's just not able to because of this crazy shit. And working 18-hour days, he just doesn't have the time to. So finally he begins to read the book. Okay, so I was on the wrong page. God. Okay. So they finally explain the 3 superstate territories and how they really work. And so Let's see. Eurasia comprises of the whole northern part of the European and Asiatic landmass from Portugal to the Bering Strait. Oceania comprises of the Americas, the Atlantic islands, including the British Isles, Australia, but they changed it to Australasia, and the southern portion of Africa. East Asia is smaller than the others and with less definite western frontier, comprises China and the countries to the south of it, the Japanese islands, and a large but fluctuating portion of Manchuria, Mongolia, and Tibet. So that is how they. Someone left a comment, is this the first time streaming? Have I not been up to date? No, you are not up to date. I've been doing this for like 3 or 4 weeks now. We've been discussing 1984, and I guess it has changed a little. This is the first like books in bed. Wanted to make it a little bit more relaxed. And yeah, now you're all caught up. So yeah, it was kind of nice to have that finally explained because I don't know, with such broad names like Eurasia, you really have no idea where in the world they're talking about. So I thought it was kind of nice that they finally like set those definitions. So let me see. Moving on next. What am I talking about? God, my notes are so fucking like in code. I have like either I can't read my own handwriting or I can't remember, like I'm so vague that I don't remember what I was talking about. Do 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 do. Ha. Okay, so it's talking about the party and the whole concept of war. And page 171 says it does not matter whether the war is actually happening, and since no decisive victory is possible, it does not matter whether the war is going well or badly. All that is needed is that a state of war should exist. So quickly we learn that that's why it doesn't even matter, why the party doesn't care that it flip-flops between who it's going to war with, because victory is not possible. It's just to put people into a state of fear, and they can mold them so much easier if they have them in this state of fear. So they just need a state of war to exist, period. No details even matter. It's fucking crazy. Then I say the party has two main problems that it's constantly battling. I think science is one of them. And technology, is that the other? Okay, here we are. There are therefore two great problems. This is page 172, by the way. Great problems which the party is concerned to solve. One is how to discover, against his will, what another human being is thinking, and the other is how to kill several 100 million people in a few seconds without giving warning beforehand. Those are two terrifying problems, and I hope that they never solve those problems. Oh my god. So, yeah, obviously those are the two things that are going to keep them in power forever, no matter what. If they can figure out how to control people's minds, essentially, and then if they can mass murder people within seconds. They're not good things to have in your control. Oh my god. No government should ever have those powers. So the three superstates are essentially stuck in a stalemate and have an unspoken agreement to. Oh, okay. So, yes. So they're all stuck in this stalemate. They're all at war with each other. And then they have an unspoken agreement to not use atomic bombs, yet they still produce them. Let's see. Here it is necessary to repeat what has already been said earlier, that by becoming continuous war has fundamentally changed its character. So because this war is just ongoing, details don't matter, it has fundamentally changed the war and the character of war. Like, they're still producing bombs, but then they're not going to use them. And let's see. So essentially, the point of the war is that it's on page 176 and 177. It eats up the surplus of consumable goods, and it helps to preserve the special mental atmosphere that a hierarchical social what's that? Hierarchical society needs. Wait, what? I don't know. I'm confused where I won. This book is so scary. I know it is so scary, but I'm so confusing myself. Huh. Totally lost myself there. Like brain fart, essentially, where it's just like, blank. What were you thinking about? No, that thought's gone. So they do explain where the term war is peace comes from. Page 177, it says, a peace that was truly permanent would be the same as a permanent war. This, although the vast majority of party members understand it only in a shallower sense, is the inner meaning of the party slogan, war is peace. A peace that was truly permanent would be the same as a permanent war. This like double speak again and double think. There's double speak and then double think. And so this is kind of like a combination of the two, because it's their slogan is war is peace, and then it's just the honest thought that if it's permanent, it's just what they're always going to know and think, and it's going to become normalized. So just as peace being permanent seems normal, if it's going on long enough, they feel like war would do the same thing. Fucking crazy. They're crazy government. So after reading, Winston is comforted by the fact that this doesn't feel like reading new info. It's reassuring that everything he's been thinking is true. He says it multiple times as he's reading the book, that it's not new information. These are things that he already knew, but because it's like written down, it makes it more true, and it makes him feel better. So Julia joins Winston in their upstairs hideaway room, and he reads the book aloud, starting with chapter 1, which is Ignorance is Strength. And this goes into history and how things shifted to become the system it is today. Revolutions in the 50s and 60s made the basic framework that is still in power today. So, God, I wish this was like more fresh in my brain, since this was last week's section. I'm like totally blanking. I don't even remember. Ooh. Okay, let's see. Um, 183. So there was something important that came along. Ooh, yes. Okay, so like to make it even more fucking terrifying. So everyone is familiar with John Lennon's song Imagine. And one of the key lines in it is imagine no possessions. And this is something that the party pretty much accomplished. Again, page 183, it says, the so-called about, God, my fucking like dyslexia is really like hyped right now, and I cannot pronounce words properly. Okay, so private party, which took place in the middle years of the century, meant in effect the concentration of property in far fewer hands than before, but with this difference that the new owners were a group instead of a mass of individuals. Individually, no member of the party owns anything except petty personal belongings. Collectively, the party owns everything in Oceania because it controls everything and disposes of the products as it thinks fit. So I remember before in this book discussion, when we were talking about earlier in the books, like when they have low rations of things that you wouldn't even would assume would have a ration to begin with, like razors, just like shaving facial razors. They're super hard to find. You have to like go to the black market and shit to try and find it. But now that we're like in the end of the book, you realize that it was just the party all along and they wanted to eliminate possessions, pretty much. Okay, so he's reading, and it continues to go through history and explains how doublethink came to be, and it is the main artery of the party, and it is what keeps it in power. Page 193, so I'm like totally jumping ahead. I don't have anything underlined here. Oh, okay. So, God, there's this part. So he's talking about doublethink and doublespeak and everything. He's still reading the book out loud while Julia and him are in their little hideaway. And let's see. So it says, here we reach the central secret. As we have seen, the mystique of the party, and above all of the inner party, depends upon doublethink. But deeper than this lies the original motive, the never questioned instinct that first led to the seizure of power and brought doublethink. The thought police continuous warfare and all other necessary paraphernalia into existence afterwards. This motive really consists dot 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 fucking pulling out an ellipses. And then Winston realizes that Julia fell asleep. And so we don't find out what the motive is right then. And unfortunately, we never kind of find out what it is because he goes to try and wake her up. And let's see what my notes say. So he wakes her up and they kind of like reflect on the book a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, so they're pretty much just like reflecting on it all and accepting it all, like this is their truth. He says, "We are the dead." She responds, or echoes dutifully. It says, "We are the dead." And then, out of nowhere, an iron voice behind them says, "You are the dead." You have no idea what to think because this is like their secret hideaway. This is where they are truly, truly safe, or so we thought. And now it is revealed that there is a secret telescreen behind them. It was behind a picture, so it was super hidden. And now they're essentially fucked. You know that they're screwed. There's a telescreen. Who knows how long it's been there? they're watching them, they're listening to them, and it's just not good. You know that it can't be good from here. So let's see. Okay, so obviously Julia is taken away instantly. Mr. Charrington enters the room and he looks completely different. He's no longer like the crazy old man. He looks younger. And Winston instantly realizes that he was the voice that was coming from the telescreen, and that for the first moment in his entire life, he realizes that he is looking at a member of the Thought Police. And kind of that in itself is really fucking terrifying because you never really know who's in the Thought Police and who's not. You kind of have some assumptions, but you never really know. And he was just tricked all along. All along, we thought this Mr. Charrington character was just like an old crazy guy. So, I mean, it kind of really gives you the thought that you're never safe when you live in a society like this. You're never ever going to be safe because of this double think and double speak. They even mentioned before, I can't remember exactly where in the book or what the context is, but they do discuss about how they do like facial surgery and they change people completely. And so that's exactly what they did with this Mr. Charrington character. They made him seem like he was like nonchalant, I guess, and like nothing to worry about, and that's why Winston trusted him. And then all along, Thought Police all along. I definitely am curious if you guys, while reading this, were you under the impression all along that Mr. Charrington was just like a nobody character, not that important? Or did you think instantly from the very beginning there's something fishy about him, not trustworthy, something's gonna happen later, and then bam, you're like confirmed that it's Thought Police, and you're like, oh, I knew it all along. I didn't see it coming. Did you? Let's see. Someone said in the comments, so basically the government has their heads all censored up. Uh, Ustream does censor the chat. Yeah, I mean, essentially, the government has their heads, I'm guessing you meant fucked up. But I mean, not necessarily, because in their mind, like, they have the ultimate power, and so it's what they wanted all along. Like, they don't think that their heads are all fucked up. Their heads are perfect, and they are thinking exactly what they should be. From the beginning, but I'm a skeptic. About Mr. Charrington? What are you a skeptic about? Anonymous Ustreamer, number 23 or 283405. Oh my god. So, crazy. Oh, another thing that happens is Mr. Charrington destroys the paperweight, and something that Winston notices is, I think it's a piece of coral that was in the middle of the paperweight, but it breaks apart and he realizes how small the object that was in the paperweight actually was, and that it's just like the dome of the glass that makes it look enlarged. And I don't necessarily know exactly what made that an important moment, but it just stuck out in my mind. Like, I don't know. It's like perception, pretty much. Like, how we see and perceive things can be different from how they actually are. Because in reality, the little coral was this big, but however big the paperweight was, distorted that image and made it seem like something completely different. And that's kind of how this whole Oceania world works. Like, nothing is how it actually seems. Ooh, someone in the chat said they were skeptical of Mr. Charrington and you knew that he was up to no good. I mean, I guess from like those crazy rhymes and shit, like the little poem that he was saying. But I don't know. I didn't think that he was a member of the Thought Police. I did not see that coming. Okay, so that ended our last section on 200. They take him away. Yeah, the last sentence. It occurred to Winston that for the first time in his life, he was looking with knowledge at a member of the Thought Police. Dun dun dun! And yeah, so that's what we were supposed to talk about last week, and then I had some technical difficulties. I'm going to stop this record so it can be put to YouTube easier because I don't think they like videos that are over 30 minutes. And then we will go on to the last section of 1984, rounding out this book.